Okay, we've readjusted the front. We just added a little more primer and shot it, and we're now ready to shoot the surface. You just want to go on as liberal as you can. Don't be afraid to overdo it, because you can reuse whatever doesn't stick. We set out just enough cork, and as you can see, if you look at it closely, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but we've got a fine layer of cork beginning to adhere to this countertop. It's actually cool, isn't it? Our hemp board project looks like it's well on its way. At this point, we are going to let it dry for 6 to 8 hours, which in our case is going to be overnight. And then we'll come back and give it a light sanding and put a seal on it. And as I mentioned, those of you that want to stain it, you would stain it in between after you do the light sanding and then go for the top coat. Welcome back. Yesterday in the first part of the video put the cork on the hemp board and we let it cure overnight, as I mentioned. It takes a good 6 or 8 hours, and now we're ready to, you can vacuum it off, or we're going to use the dustpan and a broom because we just have this little top right here. We're just going to take all the excess off. Pretty simple, straightforward again. And you can see what's left is what got stuck to the hemp board. And then we're going to give it a light sanding, and then we'll put a coating on, an eco-friendly soy-based coating that we have. It's a floor coating, but because it's so eco-friendly, it's food safe and completely user-friendly in the house. Most all of these products, there's absolutely no smell to them. So it's great for indoor projects. You don't have to do it in the garage or what have you. Probably not going to hear me because I'm going to turn on the sander, but it's just a little palm sander, and we're going to give it a light sanding just to get some of the texture off and some more of the loose granules. Okay, here we go. We'll again vacuum, or in this case we're going to brush it off. There's a couple of bald spots on here, and what we're going to do is take the excess cork that we're sweeping off here, and when we put the top coat on, we'll shoot it again. We'll sprinkle some more on. Okay, I've saved it off in a pail. There's a lot on the floor that you could also vacuum up if you needed more, but we've got a little bit excess here. Alright, we're going to use the soy krill on the top. I've already done the bottom and flipped it over. Did that with a paintbrush. The soy krill is a floor coating, as I mentioned. It's eco-friendly, no VOCs whatsoever, so it's very food safe, great to do indoors. We're just going to pour it on and then roll it out. And you just got to saturate the cork. And as I mentioned, if you have any bald spots, this is the point where you'd want to get it saturated pretty good and just go over the top. And you can sand it to taste, whatever kind of finish you want on there, and get it super smooth. But you have to remember the cork is real small, the granules, so if you sand too much, it'll take it right off. And you can see we've got a couple spots on here that are already got, they need a little bit of attention. We sanded through. The sandpaper is critical. We'll include the proper sandpaper in the kit. It's a really fine paper, because anything too much thicker or coarser, I should say, it will just sand the cork right off. Cork is like, it's almost like balsa wood. It's real, I don't want to say fragile, but it's not something you can sand on real hard. It's a pretty simple process, the whole thing. There is no real wrong way to do it. It's very, very straightforward, so as long as you get the whole thing coated, and the cork itself is natural sealant, so this just helps it a little bit, helps the process along. You can see how the sealer darkens it. Whoops. We're just gonna shoot a little bit more over the top. And some of the spots that are a little low, but pretty much overall it looks pretty good. And that's how you get cork on a hemp board. We'd also do the same process, which is more common, obviously, in your house. Maybe in your bathroom vanity would be made out of either cultured marble or, a lot of cases, laminate. We've got this set up real good to go over laminate existing countertops. It's a great transition to go from, a laminate, which is a lower end countertop, to a high-end looking product. And that's how we build a sustainable countertop. Welcome back. Here we have our hemp board and cork. As we left you yesterday, we put the primer on it, sprayed it with the cork, shot the cork over it, and now we're ready to vacuum up the excess. Whatever didn't stick to it, we'll just vacuum up. You can sweep off with a broom or whatever you'd like to do, but the rest will stay in place, stuck to the top. So I'll give the vacuum a whirl, and then we're going to put an eco-friendly sealer over the top. Now, you don't really have to put a sealer, as we recommend it, but cork, due to the nature of it, doesn't have to actually be sealed. We, like I said, do recommend it, so we're going to put an acrylic urethane, a food-safe, eco-friendly sealer over the top. So let me give it a little vacuum here, and we'll begin the sealing. Alright, that should be good enough. And if you do find any bald spots or spots that didn't, and I'm not talking about under my hat here, any spots on here where the cork didn't stick, don't panic. You can still seal it, and you can use the sealer as the glue for the cork. And then you'd have to come back, lightly sand it, as we did earlier, and then seal over that. So it's not all for naught if you find one. We don't seem to have any here. Looks like it worked pretty good, so let's move on to the sealer. As I mentioned, we're going to use our soy krill, eco-friendly, soy-based acrylic urethane sealer. We'll put one coat on, we'll let it dry, and then we'll put a second coat on. And the dry time's about an hour. Anything inside of an hour, you should be good to go. And then we're going to use a 3/8 inch nap. You could use a smoother hot dog roller, or I wouldn't go any thicker than a 3/8 nap. So we'll pour a little here in the tray and have at it. Don't have to open the windows. You do want to tape off your cabinets and floors in case you drip or you're a little messy. But this has virtually no odor. It's very, very minor, if any. Okay, here we go. You just want to saturate it a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. The cork is very resilient and resists the sealer, but it will penetrate in. And what's nice about this, if it's a kitchen counter, number one question I get in the countertop business is, can I cut on my counter? We never recommend cutting. Get a cutting board, a trivet, just something else to cut on. But remarkably enough, this product will self-heal, just like a cork board that you would put push pins in. Just want to make sure that you get it thoroughly on there, and you can see it as you're going along if you've covered it, because it's almost like a wood. It's the bark of a tree, so it reacts a lot like wood does. It's pretty straightforward. This is a real small top. It's going in the bathroom at our warehouse and world headquarters here in Tucson. We've got I might have mentioned earlier, a concrete sink. It's a vessel style that will poke through that square hole. Now you could very easily do this in place. Just tape off your appliances and sink and anything else that you don't want to get a cork on or the sealer on.